Hi, and welcome back to the Mind Body Podcast. I'm Alice, a fitness and mindset coach, and I help ambitious women overcome self-sabotage, all or nothing thinking, so that they can break through from the constant cycle of stop-start with their fitness and weight loss and achieve the body and confidence that they desire and have a healthy relationship with themselves. So if you're tired of constantly starting over on your journey, you're stuck in the emotional eating trap, you know what to do but you can't do it consistently, then you are in the right place. Each week I will be sharing practical fitness tips, mindset tools, and honest lessons to help you create results that last. Let's get into today's episode. Today we are going to be talking about the 5 main habits that helped me stop binge eating, lose weight, stay consistent with my fitness and mindset so that I created a routine and results that last. We are going to be covering the 5 habits that transformed my mind and body, how these habits helped me lose weight without having to constantly start over, why most women focus on the wrong things and what those wrong things often are, the mindset shifts that helped consistency feel easier, and how you can start implementing these from today. Let's get straight into it. So, I am so big on building habits because I think the more that you build habits, the more that your routine can just become automatic. It's not a case of having to actively think about how you're gonna get your gym sessions in, how you're gonna get your steps in, your food and all these different things. It just starts to become part of your life, and habits are the foundation for that. So I've touched on it already a little bit. Number 1 habit that I would recommend that everybody start doing, especially if you want to lose weight, tone up, and ultimately just feel better in yourself, is walking. Now, there's a common number of hitting 10k steps when you're wanting to lose weight and get fit. And don't get me wrong, that is a great number to hit. And often it is a great number because it's a bit of a challenge, but it can be done when you put in the time and the effort, and then it starts to become part of your routine. But honestly, just walking in general it's got so many benefits. And for me personally, I notice if I don't go on a walk, I just feel a little bit sluggish, my energy starts to dip, mentally I feel a little bit crowded. So it's not just having the impact on your weight loss and your body and being able to lose weight and keep it off consistently. It's all the different aspects and benefits that comes with going for a walk every day, the stress relief, the benefits on your mental health. Honestly, walking for me is just the one thing. If I had to choose between going to the gym or walking, I would choose walking, and that's saying something. So start incorporating walking into your everyday, and we are going to go on to how you can start implementing these habits. But number 1 is walking, and it does not have to be an hour walk every single day. It can literally be parking a little bit further away at work or when you go to the shops, so then you've just got a few minutes walk to the shop. Or it can just be, if you don't have a full half an hour on your lunch break to go for a walk, doing a 10-minute walk around the block, little and often, works just as well as going for an hour walk after tea. Number 2 is protein. Now, you will know about protein already. You probably know some of the benefits and why it's so important, but let me just cover them in case you don't. So protein, you've got 3 macronutrients, and those macros are carbs, fats, and protein. Protein is the most satiating macronutrient. Essentially, this means it keeps you fuller for longer, because often when we have carbs, our body burns them faster than it burns protein. And it also takes your body more energy to burn that protein off as well. Recovery-wise, it helps to repair your muscles. So if you are doing training, whatever exercise you're doing, having protein in your diet helps your muscles repair on a day-to-day basis, so then they are not getting fatigued and you can actually start to lose weight and tone up with the muscle mass that you are building. With protein being the most satiating, so essentially keeps you fuller for longer, it means when you add protein into your diet consistently and you have a high protein diet, you are less likely to get those crashes. So for example, right now, if you are tending to have toast for breakfast or you're having cereal, something like that doesn't have a lot of protein in, it is mainly carbs, and sometimes if it's cereal, it's got sugar in as well. What this does is it spikes your glucose levels, so you get a surge of energy, but then you also get a crash of energy, and that's why if you don't have any protein in your breakfast, let's say, You often notice that you're starving by 10. You know, if you have your breakfast at 8, you'll be looking around for a snack at like 10, 11, and you might start picking on things. When you include protein into your meals consistently, it's helping keep you fuller for longer. It's helping to regulate those spikes in blood sugar, and therefore eating protein is going to help keep you full, which is going to reduce those cravings, and it's going to reduce the crash that sometimes comes with having like a high carb breakfast. And that's not to say don't include carbs. Carbs are my ride or die. I could not survive without carbs, and I have them for every meal, near enough, or I have them every single day. But protein alongside carbs balances your blood sugar, keeps you full, means you're not going to get those crashes and those cravings as much. Number 3 is strength training. Now, this is one of the most important things that you can do for yourself as a woman who is wanting to lose weight, tone up, and stay consistent and be able to maintain those results. The reason strength training is so important when you are losing weight or when you're looking to tone up and lose body fat, many reasons. One of them being, when you are strength training, you are also building muscle at the same time. And there's a few reasons why this is important on a fat loss journey. One being that the more muscle you have, the faster your metabolism. You might have not known that. The more muscle you have, the more calories and the more energy you are burning on a day-to-day basis. So the more calories you're actually burning at rest, because that muscle is using energy on a day-to-day basis. It's why, ladies, if you have a boyfriend or a partner and you think, how can they eat 4,000 calories a day? And if they cut their food down by a smidge, they're able to lose like 5 pounds in a week. But I'm over here dropping my calories to 1,200, trying to do an hour of cardio a day, and I'll be lucky if I lose one pound a week. This is because men on average have a higher muscle mass than women, and so their maintenance calories, what they can eat to maintain their body weight, is a lot higher. So if your aim is to have those long-term results where you lose the weight, you tone up and you keep it off, we want to be building muscle along the way so that your maintenance calories are getting higher and higher as the weeks, months, years go by. Second most important reason why we want to be strength training and why it's one of the habits that has helped me to be able to lose the weight, tone up and keep it off, because I like to eat, is because that's where you get that toned look from. You cannot get that toned look where you have that definition in your legs, have definition in your arms, wherever it is that you're wanting it, without strength training. Cardio will not get you there alone. Even things like Pilates will not get you there alone. And it's because we need to be progressively challenging the muscles, what's called progressive overload. When we are challenging the muscles with heavier weights or a heavier load in the gym, essentially, that resistance training, it means that our muscles are growing over time, which is what gets you that toned, defined look. And there's a big myth that strength training makes women bulky, and this could not be further from the truth. Any woman you see that strength trains and potentially looks a little bit bulky, in your opinion, has probably had a bit of help to get there, put it that way. We don't have it in our hormones. Women don't have the level of testosterone in their hormones to actually get bulky. And so I don't want you to worry about getting bulky, because it takes a lot. I've been strength training consistently for 6 years. I've done building phases where I'm actively wanting to build a lot of muscle, and I've never ended up feeling like, oh my God, I'm too bulky or I'm too big. So hopefully that has eased your mind when it comes to, is strength training going to make me look big and bulky? Because it will not. This is where we get that toned look from. And like I say, running, cardio, all these things are amazing, but they do not help you get toned. That is the bottom line. We need strength training, and really intentional strength training, lifting heavy and pushing the weights consistently 3 to 5 times a week. You don't have to go crazy and be going every single day. 3 as a minimum, you're still going to get the results. 4 or 5 if you can make that work with your schedule long term. But the main thing is having an intentional plan, not just going in and kind of doing a few machines and thinking, oh, I've done some strength training today. You have, but it's probably not the type that's going to be able to get you those results long term of losing weight, building muscle, ultimately toning up. So yeah, number 3 is strength training. And I've had phases of my journey where I haven't necessarily loved strength training, I'm not going to lie. I used to I used to strength train consistently 5 times a week. I would just lift weights 5 times a week for an hour, probably an hour and a half, to be honest, at that point. I didn't have as many responsibilities as I do now. I was a little bit younger. But my total focus was strength training, building muscle, getting toned, having big glutes, having strong arms, strong shoulders. And I do not regret that for a second. But I also have been through phases more recently where actually I preferred running, or I've only maybe been getting in 2 strength sessions a week, 3 strength sessions a week, alongside running, maybe the odd sort of functional session, a bit of yoga, that kind of thing. So it can be involved, it can be as a part of your whole training journey, your whole training routine. It doesn't have to just be strength train and nothing else, but it does want to be a focus if your aim is to lose weight and keep it off for good. The 4th habit for you to focus on, and what has helped me lose weight and stay consistent long term, is sleep. And now this may sound a little bit boring, but honestly, some of the most basic and boring habits work. Prioritize your sleep like your life depends on it. I will always pretty much get 8.5, sometimes 9 hours sleep, depending on what time I'm up in the morning. But I protect my sleep, honestly, like my life depends on it. And the reason this helps you long term, better sleep quality means that your body is rejuvenating overnight, it's reducing stress overnight, it's recovering well, means you wake up with more energy more often than not. But also, when you are tired, when you're lacking good quality sleep, your cravings are often higher, your energy levels are lower, your decisions become a lot worse. And so all those things get better when you're prioritizing good quality sleep. And the 5th habit that I have had to master over the last few years so that I can lose weight, keep it off, keep that toned body and stay consistent is planning. Really getting good at time management, which does not come easily to me. I am someone who is often late to things, and organisation is not my strong suit, and I'm just a little bit chaotic in general. So I've had to really master my planning skills when it comes down to having fitness be a part of my life and having fitness and health just be a part of who I am. For example, actually scheduling in, like, when do I get my walks in every day? When do I get to the gym every week? Having these routines and having set days and times when you are walking, when you are at the gym, when you are doing a little bit of meal prep, whatever it is, will save you so much time and energy, because making decisions on the spot gets so tiring. And there's actually a thing called decision fatigue. You're constantly making decisions every day, and as you get towards the end of the day, those decisions are getting worse because your brain is tired of making all these little decisions. So if you can decide ahead of time what you're having for tea, if you can decide at the start of the week when you're getting your gym sessions in, if you can decide at the start of the week what habits you're going to hit and how you're going to hit them, all you need to do is wake up and just show up on that day and just tick off those habits that you've already scheduled in, or get to the gym at that set time where you've already allocated that slot for a gym session, for a run, for a class, whatever it is. But planning your weeks in advance is honestly such a game changer and such a life hack, to be honest, because it just reduces overwhelm, reduces decision fatigue, and increases the chances of you staying consistent and adhering to the plan. There's a few things that most women, or some women, and probably yourself included, have done or do to try and see those results that actually are probably the wrong thing to be doing, or that are just going to have you going round and round in circles with your fitness journey. Number 1 is focusing too much on what you are going to need to take away rather than what you are adding in. Just let that land, because I imagine whenever you're researching your fitness journey or you're wanting to lose weight, you're thinking about what you can do to make a change to get these results. I bet you're thinking of what you need to take away. I need to stop the chocolate in the evening. I need to stop going out on the weekends. I need to stop this. I need to stop that. That, to your mind, is you're just going to see a whole load of things that you're having to go without. What if you started to change your perception to actually, what can I add in to build these habits so that weight loss and staying consistent is easier? When you're adding things in, it's a lot more appealing than taking them away. So adding in the walking, adding in a strength session a week, adding in protein with your meals, that's a lot more achievable and doable than just taking everything away and therefore not really being left with anything to actually focus on, because you've just taken things away, but what is it that you're actually going to add in to be able to get the results? So that is a common mistake that I see women making a lot, and it's why things don't last, because if you just take everything away, you just think, God, this is awful, this is boring, I don't want to stick to this. And it's why, it'll only last for the short term, it won't be a long-term lifestyle change. Second thing women do a lot, maybe yourself included, or what they focus on in terms of the wrong thing that they're focusing on, is doing too much too soon. So you'll get that surge of motivation, you'll think, I need to make a change, or possibly that you just have this all the time of I need to make a change. So then you want to take action, and the action is reflecting those high levels of motivation and maybe desperation. So you start doing everything within your power. Like I say, cutting things out. You may start doing an hour of cardio at the gym, or you may just start going to cardio classes at the gym 5-6 times a week. You say no to plans. You are eating meal prep every single day. Basically it's just too rigid, too much, too soon, and therefore you just can't stick to it for more than a week or two. Then you fall off, you feel like you're a failure, you can't do it, why am I even trying to do this, because it never works, and that cycle repeats itself, because then you're back in the position of, no, I need to do something about this, I need to change, motivation's high, you make all these changes and sacrifices, and so on and so forth. This leads me on to the third thing that women do a lot, and this is focusing a little too much on short-term fixes rather than long-term lifestyle changes. And this is where the fitness industry is absolutely rife at the minute for 6-week challenges, 8-week challenges. And it just becomes a thing of doing these every summer or every few months to lose a little bit of weight, but then you end up gaining it. And it's like you're not actually building the habits and changing your mindset when it comes to food and fitness. So you can't sustain those results. And just doing these short bursts of losing weight or being really disciplined, really consistent, and then falling off and then doing those bursts again, it's perpetuating that cycle of being really on track to really off track, really on track to really on track. And so I really urge you to change your mindset from how quick can I get these results to how can I make these results last, and extending the goalpost rather than looking at what you can do in 6 weeks or 8 weeks. Actually, what can you do in 6 months or 8 months? And I know that may feel like a long time, but isn't it better that you dedicate 6 to 8 months, however long, to your fitness journey, to actually losing weight, toning up, staying consistent and doing it properly, so then you can maintain it for years to come, rather than doing these 6-week, 8-week challenges every year to end up in the same position, to then do it again to end up in the same position. So focusing less on short-term fixes, more on long-term lifestyle changes, which is exactly why these habits that I'm speaking about are so important, because they do help you make a lifestyle shift long-term. This brings me on nicely to the mindset shifts that I have made along my journey, and that I've also helped hundreds of other women make, so that consistency starts to feel easier. It's exactly the point that I just touched on there. Viewing it as a long game, rather than viewing your fitness and your weight loss as a short-term thing that you just need to master over these next few weeks. Viewing it as a long game, and I don't mean to say that it has to be this long journey to get your results. What I mean is viewing it as, what can I achieve over the next year? Get excited about where you could be this time next year if you make small, consistent changes over time, and looking at the bigger picture of how much that's going to help you in years to come. Whether you are an older woman who is wanting to run around with the grandkids, whether you are a young mum, whether you are someone who is in their early 20s and they are thinking about their life moving forward as to getting a partner or having kids or having that family life, how much is that going to influence and impact you positively? If you look at it as more of a long-term lifestyle change and solution, rather than quick fixes where you're always having to lose half a stone, 10 pounds, 20 pounds, and just being in that constant cycle of stop-start. Another mindset shift that you can make so that consistency starts to feel easier is focusing on being consistent over being perfect. And I'm going to touch on the perfectionist mindset in another episode. But rather than trying to be 100% with everything, otherwise, what's the point? You failed. There's no point even starting. Aiming to be 80% consistent overall, and looking at actually what that looks like for your life. So for example, you may schedule 4 gym sessions in. If you get 3 gym sessions in, you've still been consistent. Just because you didn't get that last one doesn't mean that you are not being consistent with the goals and with the habits that you want to build. Understand that you're a human. You've got a life, you've got responsibilities, commitments, everything. Being perfect is just setting yourself up to fail, or trying to be perfect is setting yourself up to fail. And so switching your mindset to how consistent can I be, rather than how perfect can I be, or how on it can I be, rather than being this on track, off track. How consistent can I be over time? What can I consistently commit to over time? More often than not. Not all the time, but more often than not, we want to be consistent with those things. Another mindset shift that you can make to make consistency feel easier is to actually view it from a place of feeling grateful and feeling lucky for having the opportunity to be on a fitness journey, for having the opportunity to change your habits, for having the opportunity to have access to healthy food. Once you change your mindset to be from a place of gratitude rather than a place of obligation, or in that victim mentality of why me, why can't I just be one of these people who are naturally slim, and you actually focus on feeling grateful for your body, feeling grateful for your life, feeling grateful for the times that you can get to the gym, that you can go out for a walk. If you have a dog, feeling grateful for the fact that you've got a dog. I know I am definitely grateful to have a very active Labrador, because she gets me out every single day, even on the days where I would really rather stay at home or I've just got loads of other things to do. She gets me out for that walk every single day. When you start asking your mind, how many things today can I find to be grateful for, you start feeling really lucky for the opportunity to look after yourself, realising that not everybody gets the chance to do that because of all sorts of different things. So actually changing your mindset to be focusing on gratitude and focusing on how lucky you are to be in a position to look after your health and fitness. So how can you start implementing these habits from today? The number one thing that I want you to take away from this is to start small. And now the all or nothing mindset will tell you that you need to be doing these from today and doing them to the best of your ability at 100%. But this is going to lead you to falling off because it's not realistic with your life right now. We need to build them up gradually. So for your steps, look at your average step count from the last couple of weeks and increase that by 2k. If you're hitting 5,000 right now, from today, start hitting 7,000 every single day. Do that consistently for 2 weeks, then see if we can increase that to 8,000 and then 9,000 and so on. Give yourself time, like an adjustment period of 2-3 weeks to stick to that habit consistently before adding something else on or before pushing it even further. For your strength sessions, if you're currently strength training right now, starting to increase the weights a little bit more than you have been doing. If you've just been sticking to weights that feel comfortable or just sort of going through the motions, start going in with the mindset of training with intensity. And if you're not strength training as much as you'd like, add 1 session on a week. If you're currently hitting 2 sessions, add a 3rd session on and say, right, I'm going to commit to 3 sessions for the next 4 weeks before adding anything else on. When it comes to your sleep, rather than saying I'm going to go to bed at 9 p.m, which is probably not going to happen, start bringing your wind down time just 30 minutes earlier. If right now you're tending to turn your light off at 11 or half 11, make it half 10. See how that goes for the next couple of weeks, then bring it forward to 10 and really start just concentrating on good quality sleep and having a little bit of a wind down routine that you look forward to, reading a few pages, journaling to reduce a little bit of stress, that kind of thing. For protein, like I mentioned, if right now your breakfast is looking a little bit like toast or cereal or nothing at all, start adding 2 boiled eggs into your breakfast. Have what you usually have, but just add the protein source in. Don't start from scratch and change everything. That's going to feel overwhelming. Have what you're having right now and then add a protein source in with that. And with the planning, you know, I've got into a habit now where I'll plan the whole week, or to be honest, because I've been doing it that long, I just know where things are going to go. Like, I just know when things are getting done and I don't have to think about it too much because I've spent those years and months previously planning my week and planning everything in advance, that now it's more automatic. But for you, start planning in 3 days in advance, even 2 days in advance. Plan the next 2 days, when you can get some more steps in, what you're going to have to eat every day, and when you can get a gym session in or 2. Do it 2-3 days at a time. Then when those days are done, plan the next 2 or 3 days. It's less overwhelming than planning the whole week because, the week changes, doesn't it? We can set out with the best plan in the world for the week, but life happens. And so making a plan 2 or 3 days and then adapting where necessary, reflecting on, okay, I couldn't get to the gym at that time because work carried on too late or whatever it was. Then, for the next couple of days, right, I'm going to plan the gym in at that time because that's a lot more realistic for me. I hope you found this episode useful. I trust that you're going to start implementing these habits into your everyday life so that you're able to reach your goals of losing weight, toning up, improving your mindset, and improving your health overall. If you found this episode helpful, I would love it if you could share it with a friend or share it to your Instagram and tag me at @AliceHardiman_. Or alternatively, if you would leave a review so that more women like yourself can find the podcast, I will be so, so grateful. And remember, the results that you want don't come from being perfect. They come from taking small, consistent action over time, showing up for yourself, and getting back to it whenever you fall off track. I'll see you in the next episode.